Well, what's up, gang? It's Delty from Delty'sGaming.com, back with Inferno Nugget, Dragonknight, Laceration Build. Been a long time coming. Completed Maelstrom Arena, got a decent score, and wanted to share with you exactly what I did so you Magic Dragon Knights can get in there and start whooping butt too. Let's get started. Laceration! Alright, before we get started, I want to prove to you that I beat it and I'm not some terrible baddie, even though I kinda am. Currently 4th. 340,000, so not too bad, but the best is, pretty high. So the Dragon Knight is still a good class. People freak out and think that, oh, it's terrible and whatnot now, and I don't know why that rumor spread. I think someone just randomly said it and everyone started believing it. But the Dragon Knight is still really good. The main problem that the Dragon Knight has is it doesn't have a range-capable ability inside of its class for DPS that's spammable. And it also doesn't have something spammable that produces heals like the other magic classes do, like Puncturing Sweeps, Power Surging Crystal Frags for a Sword, Nightblade with Funnel Health or Swallow Souls. It does have Flame Lash, though the target has to be off balance. So it's really good and the other things that we've been using in other builds, but it just doesn't work on bosses primarily. So you have to get around the self-heal thing in different ways. We do this by stacking a lot of critical and critical damage via the champion points and a lot of self-healing passives in the champion point system. Okay, so the skills that I use on my DPS bar it's pretty simple. You want to keep it simple. Keep it simple. Mage's Guild, Inner Light, Max Magic, duh. The real reason we use this, you can use Spell Power Potions, but the amount of Max Magic is significant. It's going to add a lot to your DPS, and just having it slotted is going to improve your Magic Recovery, Max Magic. Max Magic, more damage. It's a good thing to have. And then, instead of Whip, I use Force Pulse. Now, the reason I use Force Pulse is it's very, very handy to have a lot of range in this arena. I will swap in and out Flame Lash depending on the round, but say like round 5 or round 7, the Argonian boss, you just need a range DPS tool. So I like Force Pulse. Now, I don't take Crushing Shock, the range interrupt, specifically for round 7, the Argonian. This also produces more damage and also can actually do some AoE if the target's are already burning, which we're going to be applying a lot of fire damage, so it makes sense to use this in my opinion. So that's my spammable ability that I use. Next up, Burning Embers. This is my 1 damage over time. It does do some healing when it's over. Now, I'm going to show you some tricks with self-healing with Burning Embers, and I'm also going to show you some tricks with my favorite Dragon Knight ability right now, in Deep Breath. It is so awesome. It's an AoE that blows up after a few seconds. It's also an interrupt and also a self-heal. This thing is ultra powerful, and I don't think people really know how to use it, so we're going to get to that. And then the other thing that makes Dragon Knights unique is Dragonfire Skills, the ability to reflect damage. It only lasts 4 seconds, and it's only 4 projectiles. But this right here allows you to be competitive with some of the other classes just because you can reflect so much of the incoming damage. Though it's a magic hog, so you have to kind of watch what you're doing, and I'm going to explain how to use that as well as we go beat up some things around here in Orsinium. Okay, and the ultimate I use is Shooting Star. I don't use this frequently, but having it slotted gives me some much needed recovery, max magic for the Mage Guild passives, and then if I'm really struggling with magic, I'll actually slot Replenishing Barrier. The reason being is it gives me 5% magic recovery for having it slotted. Now, if you PvP a lot, and you have that even the second passive, you can get 10% for just having it slotted. I don't really use it. Reason why we have the Juggernaut, Standard of Might. It is amazing. Major Defile, so it's going to have a heal debuff. It does damage over time. It increases the damage that you do and decreases the damage that you take. It's absolutely incredible. The problem is, it's 250 ultimate. So you're going to kind of save this for a burn phase on a boss, the final round, or if you're struggling, or if you need a huge flood of resources. That's kind of what I save Dragon Knight Standard for. You'll also notice on my back bar with the Restoration Staff, I don't have Entropy. And the reason why I like to use Spell Power Potions. Now, we have the Major Critical, so we don't need that. But these are not exactly cheap, but it allows me to have some flexibility in the skills that I use. Another thing about healing with the Dragonknight is underrated igneous shields. Increase the effectiveness of healing abilities by 30% for 7 seconds. That's an incredible amount. Does cost a lot of magic, but these passives are utterly amazing. So you get Earth and Heart, gives you back stamina, weapon damage, which is not important to us, but this 5 stamina. You're also getting ultimate. Where is it at? Ultimate every time you use this. Every 6 seconds. So I can't stress enough, constantly casting this. You don't want to spam cast it, but every 10 seconds or so before you do your major buffs and your healing, it's very, very wise to cast this. Like my other magic builds, Harness Magic. I don't have it even leveled up, but it's still just ultra powerful. Though I do swap this in and out depending on some of the fights, but I pretty much always stick with this. Because a lot of the fights, you're going to have magic, flame, fire damage, lightning, that you can absorb and basically skirt around. Last but not least, I have a heal over time rapid regeneration. It's because I have the Maelstrom Staff, so it gives me back magic, but it gives me a nice heal over time. I really, really like this. Combined with everything, this produces good results. We have a lot of self-healing, and that's what the Dragonknight needs. Okay, so when we buff, I use the Tristat food, and I don't have tons of magic, but I have a lot of stamina as well. I'm a Dunmer race, which I highly recommend for a Dragonknight. We're going to go over gear in a minute, and I'm going to show you all that stuff. But I'm looking at 20,000 health. I think that's a pretty good amount, especially if you're getting used to the Dragonknight. I have low stamina, spell damage, but I'm stacking these Shadow and Thief. So we're going to get to that. Twiceborn Star. So let me show you some tips with this sucker. So you're going to buff up. So you're going to use Igneous first, usually, then Rapid Regeneration. You'll notice how much more healing it does. So, for instance, let's let it go down. I'm going to show you these trick, right, with Burning Embers. So Burning Embers is going to heal basically the whole duration. Once the duration is expired, it's going to give you a heal. So right now, if we let it go the full 10 seconds, 8.6k non-crit. But if you put it on an enemy and it dies, it's going to heal you for the amount of damage that it did at that time. Why is that important? Well, you can basically kind of get a self-heal whenever you want, right? So if there's a couple mobs here, let's go find another one. There's a crazy little deer thing, whatever it is. So if you have a couple mobs and you know you're going to need a heal in about 5 seconds, put it on this guy. Then you go over him, he's about to die. When you need a heal, kill him. 6.5k. That's how you do it. Now you can also do the Igneous Shields trick as well. So right before it's about to pop, you bar swap Igneous Shields. If you have trouble doing that, you can always put Igneous Shields on their front bar. It's going to have to be tricky with the bar swaps. So like right here, you're going to get this bear cat. It's about to die. Bar swap, Igneous, kill it. 5.9k. So that's a good way to start off combat. Get it burning, Force Pulse. Remember, Force Pulse is going to do AoE damage to burning targets. Burning Embers. It works wonders. Now, the magical ability, Deep Breath. This is how I survive almost anything. So let's show you Deep Breath. We're not going to buff. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to walk up to one guy and do a Deep Breath. 6k self-heal with my setup. That was a non-crit. Let's do it again. 6k, 6k, 6k. So you can just spam this sucker and get massive healing. And that's with one target. So if we do it with another, let's go over to get 2 little scutters here. Or else let's get 3 scutters. Come here, deer. So now we're going to do Igneous. We're going to buff, and then we're going to use Deep Breath. That is going to give me a massive amount of health. See that? 6k. Boom. 6.9 times 3. And you're going to want to let it blow up. Now, the trick with Deep Breath is you can't cast it without a target being around. You see? So it won't blow up. But if you have just one target, you can. So this is my main source of AoE. It's just using Deep Breath. 1 1000, 2 1000, kaboomy. And it crits for 9k. That is a lot of damage. So you're starting to see how this build puts things together. You're healing, you're buffing, and then you're doing your damage to produce heals. The more damage you do from Burning Embers, Deep Breath, the more heals you get. So you can almost heal to full using Deep Breath only. And you're going to have Healing Word in your back bar for panic situations. So let's say your health drops to 20% or something, you get smashed real good. That's when you're going to bar swap and use Healing Word. So let's go see if we can't make that happen. Da-da-da. Or some crazy animal. What's this? White cap? If it was Columbine, we'd have to stop. Da-da. Okay, so we got spiders here. Oh my god. I'm dying. It's crazy. Okay, they're not actually killing me. I wish I had this problem of not dying in Maelstrom. That would be good. Come on, we're making a video. No one wants to see spiders hitting me. Okay, well, health slow, Healing Word, Igneous, bar swap, deep breath. Look at that. 7.9 times 2. That's 16,000. We have 19,000 health. But it's important to use the Healing Word to prevent you from insta-dying. Doing another Igneous to get another bubble, and then go back and do that deep breath. It's 1 target, it's almost 8k. 2, you're looking at 16. 3, you're at full health. And then reapply a Burning Ember. Constantly apply that Burning Ember on a target. So if you have multiple targets, depending on how fast you're likely going to need a heal, put Burning Ember. And then just sit on them with Force Pulse. It's that simple. And you're going to use Banner when it's time to burn a lot of things. So, Force Pulse, simple, spammable, damage ability. It can do AoE, has a lot of range. Burning Embers for damage over time to get them burning and a decent self-heal. Deep Breath, self-heal, amazing AoE. Reflective Scales, the last thing I haven't talked about really. It's 4 seconds, 4 projectiles. And it's a magic hog, so you gotta try to kind of time when the mobs are gonna throw stuff at you. And if you're doing Maelstrom Arena for the first time, you're just not gonna know, okay? So don't freak out. Just do a lot of practice. You're gonna die learning the mobs, what they do, and that's okay. We gotta pick up Rubedite, right? But just keep at it. Remember, no one completed this the very first time they did it. You won't either. I didn't. Nobody did. So continue to work at it. But that's just it. On the back bar, you want to do Igneous, Rapids, Harness. We have a decent shield. We can apply pressure. This build has gotten me through a lot of pressure, and I think it's actually really, really good. Now, it's not going to be the best thing for dungeons. You're not having an eruption, you don't have your 2 dots, but it's just for survival, doing damage, having range. It has everything you need. It doesn't have movement speed, but you can get those from potions. So let's talk about the gear that I like and what you can do to optimize this build even further. Okay, gear is Twiceborn Star. I love Twiceborn Star. It gives you max magic and health, which we need, and stamina is actually quite useful as well. Being a Dummer, I get 6% stamina. You wouldn't think that's very useful, but it really is. You can dodge roll, you can block, and you have that reduced block cost or the block damage on a Dragonknight, so it's very helpful if you have excessive stamina to do that. You want to go all Divines, enchant all magic, and 2 Munda Stones at the same time. So that's Shadow and the Thief. Gives us a lot of crits. So we're at 67% spell critical right here. That's with Inner Light up. So we're going to crit more often than not, which is a nice thing. And when we crit, it's going to hit extremely hard. Now, I do go with healthy willpower. It doesn't matter if you have healthy or you have arcane. You want to hit around 20,000 health. Now, the more proficient you get at this, the lower health you can have. And there's some people on the top that have 16,000 health. But it's going to be very, very hard to do that. It's going to be very, very hard to do that until you get used to it. So I recommend around 20,000 until you get comfortable with it. The more health you have, the less damage you have. So you have to find that balance between doing damage and surviving. Once you get that balance, it becomes no longer a game of finding the skills that are useful, finding the gear that's useful. It comes down to just your effort, skill, and practice. And that's why I love the champion point cap the way it is. It just comes down to skill at this point. Okay, then I have Engine Guardian. I don't have a Light Divines, so I'm stuck with this crappy 12, but I'm tired of running Darkshade Caverns 15 times a day, so I'm not going to really mess with it. But we have this Divines Light. I do all Light here. If you wanted to Ultra DPS, you'd go 5, 1, and 1, but this was what works for me. I have a random crafted Torx Pack Inferno Staff Nirnhone. I like Nirnhone, though you probably could go Precise. I don't know mathematically what's the best thing to do. When I get a Maelstrom Staff that's fire, I'm definitely going to use that. but I haven't got that. I've only got the Frost one, right? I'm a Dragonknight. I do like the enchant, though, for Daedra and Undead damage. It adds up, especially on the last round. And then I do have a Maelstrom Staff here. Now, this isn't my best one. I have a precise one, but it's just so I don't have to swap characters 1,000 times. Resto Desto, it just gets that simple, and it's easy. But let's talk about champion points, because you saw the amount of self-healing I have, and it's due to the way I set up my CP. Okay, we're here at the CP screen, champion points. I have a 501 as the cap, and I really like the CP cap. It makes you get creative with your builds and whatnot. Okay, so how I set it up, I'm all on this tree. Elemental Expert. We're basically all flame damage, so why not pump this up all the way? I do sprinkle a little points into Blessed. It adds up, believe me. So the healing is your main thing you want to focus on. And 10 points, 5.3% or 5% goes a long way. And then you also want to have a pump a lot into critical damage and critical healing. That's why we can self-heal so much on crits. Spell erosion for spell penetration, putting a little bit in here does go a little bit of ways, but you could throw even more in Blessed if you're having trouble surviving, or a little bit more in Elfborn. Either way, you can't go wrong. I use a simple standard setup. 67 in magic recovery. The reason why is I'm a Dunmer. I don't have any bonus to magic recovery, and I'm using food, tri-stat food. And then tons and tons in reduced cost. I think that goes well with using my banner to give me a flood of resources, and I'm not too focused on recovery since I use potions on cooldown every 45 seconds. What I really like here is Elemental Defender. Almost all the damage comes from elemental damage. Flame, Frost, Shock. Hardy is useful on certain rounds, poison, and you can swap this in and out if you're having trouble, let's say on stage 7 or 3. But 100 points in Elemental Defender plus a Dunmer, you're really going to feel the difference. Not to mention that when you critically attack someone, you're getting health back. Now it's 196, right? Let's see, 330. But that adds up. Every little amount of that. You got your Burning Embers, you got Deep Breath going. This is what keeps you alive as a Dragonknight. So I really like to get the 75-point passive. And then I go massive into Quick Recovery. 67 points gives me increase of healing of 12.6. So you can already see 12.6 here. We got 5% over here with this guy. We have massive amount of crits. We have a lot of crits. That's what we're doing to survive and do self-heals. The problem with this build is magic and managing your resource. The good thing about this build is that you can do damage, you can survive, and you have a lot of self-healing. It takes a lot of time and a lot of practice to do really good damage and survive. It does. I've died a lot trying it. I've completed about 3 or 4 times now, I forget which. Woo, Ruby Ash. So, a couple tips, even more so, about magic and sustained damage. Let's go over here. So, in Maelstrom Arena, remember, when you determine when the next round starts, and you're going to get about 10 seconds from the time the round ends till the round starts. Why am I bringing this up? Because you can kind of push over a mob when you want to get resources back. So for instance, let's go over here. Let's say I get all these guys. Oh my god, I'm going to drop a banner. Things are going crazy. I'm on a deep breath. Things are dying. Life's good. Okay. And now, about everything's dead except 2 little ding-dongs, right? So let's say I'm just sitting here spam casting like a meatball, spam casting, meatball. And the round is down to 1 guy. What you want to do is either wait till a potion comes back up, or do a couple fully charged heavies. Don't nuke this guy if you're out of magic. Remember, you're going to get more magic back fully charging a Resto heavy than you would with the Destruction Staff heavy. So the point I'm trying to make to you is know that you push over the mob when it's convenient for you, not vice versa. These are NPCs. So that's going to help you out a lot. You're also going to get about a flood of resources when you use an ultimate. So if you're going to push over the mob to the next round, you need to be at 25% or more with a potion up. A couple things you can do as well is you can keep combat going and use that Earth and Heart ability to proc ultimate. You want to be at a decent amount of ultimate for the next round to start. Also, for those that are uncomfortable with this setup, I definitely recommend Ferocious Leap until you get really good with ultimate regeneration. It's going to do a big, huge physical damage attack. It's going to stun, and you're going to get a massive damage shield for 6 seconds. But the real reason it's good and handy is it's low ultimate cost, right? So it's low ultimate cost and it's a defensive. So if you're in between a banner and you're just about to die, it's better to use an ultimate than start the round over and die. So what I'll do, Ferocious Leap into a Deep Breath. That's going to give me a flood of resources that I really need that allows me to do some self-heals, another dodge roll or whatever. Because remember, Battle Roar, you're getting health back along with stamina and magicka. Those are the tips that I've used to get this done. Now, I have a full playthrough video that I'm going to show you where I got that 340,000 score. And I'm going to go through and we're going to talk and laugh and have a lot of fun. But I thought this needed another video where I could hone in on some of the specific things about Dragon Knights to give you a little bit more information about it. Now, you'll notice that all my magic builds are caught up on my website and on my YouTube that can do Maelstrom Arena with exactly the same setup. Omega, I used basically the same setup. Currently number 2, I think, on, where is it? My Nightblade. Yeah, so these builds are starting to come together pretty well. I did my Stam Sork today. Where'd it go? I did my Stam Sork today. I got about 300,000 score just completing it for the first time. So I'll be moving on to Sorks. I'll be moving on to Stamina, excuse me, next. Every class, every combination has a way to beat this. Trust me, it does. You might not get the best score in the world with Stamina, but you can beat it with Stamina. Remember, use sigils. If you're just trying to complete the thing, use sigils. That's what they're there for. So look out for my video coming out in a couple hours after this one if you're into the Dragon Knight and you want to see how I do it. Next up, Stam Sork. I'll probably do Stam Nightblade, Templar, and then what's next? What do we got? A little Dragon Knight last. So that might be really hard on stamina, but we'll see. We'll get it all done, and then you guys at least have a frame of reference to, you know, try to complete on your own. I'm enjoying it, actually. It's solo content. Didn't think I would like it so much, but I'm having a lot of fun. I'm getting a lot better, pushing my limits, pushing the builds, because it's all on you in there, and you're really going to progress. Don't give up. Keep trying. Keep trying. There's something I say in the next video, which is, I'm too stubborn and too stupid to give up. Some points, you just got to be too stupid. Just keep on going. Keep on going. You'll figure it out, and it only takes one. Remember, it only takes one time to beat that round, not 100. Keep up. Thanks for watching. Look for the Laceration gameplay later today.